Well, today I would like to give a first part. It's a subject which I spoke already a few times, and each part separately I spoke already, and now I want to give it a little bit more of a comprehensive overview, because the second part is the more important part, new things that I discovered through this paper. This paper was written by a certain Rabbi Yosef Avivi. My son Yechiel has sent it to me. He is a specialist in I think in a lot in, of course, Rav Kook, but especially also in Ramchal, and he kind of speaks a lot about the comparison between different machshava opinions in Judaism.
Where is he from?
He's from Yerushalayim. Yeah. Probably Avivi is because it's anyway. You can check him up. I think he has even a Wikipedia page. So he's a famous writer. It's about the purpose of the world, the purpose of the world, and the purpose of history. Basically, what I would like to discuss, and it's something which we don't do. When we study history, we only study the Tanakh. The history seems to stop by Megillah. We don't continue studying the history of humankind after the Tanakh. It seems that we are saying that the history is random. There's a randomness in the history. Maybe there is some things. Yeah, it's always Shkocha Protes. We'll understand later. But basically, the idea of history as being something important is not really in our daily lives. Possibly also because everybody's busy with his own problems, and history is something which maybe is a little bit too wide and too vast and too difficult to understand, etc. But I would like to discuss that because the Rishonim have taken, and also Rav Kook have taken, a very, very different approach to history. And it was eye-opening, and also the way that they see, therefore, that Hashem runs the world. And there are what we call dualities. And what I mean with duality is you have two kinds of running of the world, and they both are right. They both are true, and they both are one. And this is what we'll see in the next week. We'll go through a bit of a course of psychology, which I also gave in this room not so long ago in the summer, about psychology of Carl Jung, where I gave this shir. I think it was together with Henry VIII. I don't know. It was apparently a fantastic shir. I got a lot of compliments. And on that, sometimes when you broaden a little bit the scope, people remember and appreciate it more.
History of the world. You mean the history of Israel as a nation?
No, the general history.
Because the Tanakh does not speak about the world. It speaks about Israel.
Only history. Yeah. Correct. It's the history of the world.
Like the Incas.
And the Gevohah and etc. The whole history of the whole world, how we are, where we are today. Aboriginals and etc. So the question is, we don't
limited to us after our interaction.
Yeah.
No, because Jewish history agrees.
Yeah. But
it's quite neglected as well. But nobody wrote that it should be ignored.
Oh, but there is even what I will bring today is that the history is the core, the basis of the whole purpose of the world. So that the history is not just a random context in which we live, but it is the core and the basis of the whole world, of all creation. And that's where I would like to go. I already spoke many times there, and it's not a subject that is new, but I didn't structure it as he did, and I would like to share it with you. Since this is a Tayag Mitzvah shir, I have to start with, but I will straight away start only the part which is relevant for today. So this week's parsha was the Aseret HaDibros, and I always mentioned already 10 times that in the traditional point of view, the luchos were 5 and 5, right? The traditional point of view, there were 5 dibros in one luach and 5 dibros in the other luach. There are more people in English, they call 10 commandments. It's wrong. It's not 10 commandments. It's at least 13 commandments that there are in the Aseret Dibros, but it's Dibros. It's not mitzvahs. It's not said Aseret HaMitzvahs, Aseret HaDibros. And the Dibros can include many more mitzvahs. Like Shabbos, there are two mitzvahs. Yeah, there's a mitzvah of Kiddush, Tzorech Yom HaShabbos L'Kadsh, mitzvah Aseh, and then Im Lo Saseh Kol Melocha is a Lo Saseh. And by Avodah Zura Lo Yeh Locho, he says Lo Yeh Locho Elohim Acherim Al Ponai, Lo Saseh Locho Pesel is a separate Lo Saseh, Lo Yishtachave Elohem, Lo of them. So there are 4 mitzvahs already included in this one dibur. But there is something very interesting that I always said that when I remember seeing pictures, Christian paintings of the Aseret HaDibros, and they had kind of 3 in one and 7 in another. And I thought it was simply because of, how do you call it, to have a balanced letters. Otherwise, the second one is very short. Yeah, it's a very, very short and very empty luach. And the other one, the font had to be smaller because to fit everything in there is a very, it's not very balanced in terms of number of letters. So maybe I thought maybe like that. But then I realized, no, if you look in the Parsha, look in the Chumash, if you open the Chumash of Yisroel, you will see that each dibur has a Parsha, is a separate Parsha, is a Samach. Samach means a new Parsha. The first two, Anochi and Lo Yeh, is one Parsha, which is difficult because it should be 2 Parshas, 2 dibros. We always split Anochi and Lo Yeh, right? And the Christians did not do that. The Christians did not split Anochi Lo Yeh, the Catholics not, and the Protestants, yes. There's all machlokes. I'm not going to go in there. It's not here the purpose to, but at least the assumption is that the Christians based themselves on, the early Christians, they were late Jews, right? So they based themselves on some Jewish thinking and Masoreres. But the Anochi and Lo Yeh is one parsha, one complete chapter. The Baal Koire reads it as it is one big sentence. There's no soif posuk. It's like when he starts Anochi till Uleshomre Mitzvosai, it's one posuk. The soif posuk is in Shomre Mitzvosai. There is it's like one sentence that he has to pronounce, which is one of the longest sentences that there is in the Torah. This is Anochi and Lo Yeh. And on the other hand, at the end, you have Lo Sachmoid, has been split. Lo Sachmoid Beis Re'echo, and then you see a Samach, Lo Sachmoid Eshes Re'echo. So it seems that the 10 commandments, the 10 dibros, is 2 Lo Sachmoid, and Anochi and Lo Yeh is one dibur. But okay, that's not our tradition. But then if you look you look at the parsha that is before Tzorech Yom HaShabbos L'Kadsh, it's not the Samach, but it's a pei. Where is the pei? What is a pei? Pei means a parsha psucho, means a complete new parsha. The psucho means you start by the writing of the Sefer Torah, you have to start a new line. It's completely new. You're not allowed to continue on the same line, even if you leave a gap. You have to start off a new line. And if the previous line, you came already to the end of the line, and then you start a new line, people won't recognize that it's a new chapter. So you have to leave a whole line free. So you leave a whole line free in order to make sure that this is a new parsha, a new chapter. And the Etzem is very difficult because this new chapter starts in the middle of a luach. Tzorech Yom HaShabbos L'Kadsh is still on the right side. It's still on the first luach. It should have put the pei before the Lo Sichtzach. Right? You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Before the Lo Sichtzach, it should have put a pei, not the Samach. The pei should be between the 2 luchos. That's I understand. You have luach 1 and luach 2. Before when you start Lo Sichtzach, it should be a new chapter, and now starts a second luach at Lo Sichtzach. It seems to be saying that Tzorech Yom HaShabbos L'Kadsh is the start of the new luach, which means that there were 3, according to that Masoreres, there were 3 in one luach and 7 in the other luach. Okay, so that's the theory, but that brings us a much better understanding of those 2 luchos, which I will next week elaborate more. The first luach is about God and his as God who took us out of Mitzrayim. So that's how he starts. And the second luach is about it's about God the Creator. And then he starts off with the first mitzvah, is the dibur of the 2 luchos. They start off with the identity of Hashem. The first luach is Hashem who took us out of Mitzrayim. In other words, I can interfere in nature. I can do whatever I want, even if it goes against the natural laws of the world. And the second luach is I am the creator of the natural law. I am the creator of the world, and therefore you have to make sure that there is what we call a harmony and an order in the laws of the world. Okay, so it's more of the difference between those two luchos. So the first luach presents God with what I always say with a lot of vulnerability. You know what vulnerability means? Like he shows himself as, be careful with me. Don't betray me. Why? Ki kel kano. Yeah? Ki elokecho kel kano. Ki onoichi Hashem elokecho kel kano. I am a jealous person. I'm a jealous, not person, but I'm jealous. I'm a God who is jealous. I remember the sins, and I will give you. I can be upset and exaggerate the punishment, not only to you, but also to your children. But on the other hand, also, when I love you, I can exaggerate also the schar, even more, to thousands of generations that I will give schar of your mitzvahs. So basically, it's not a God of din, like we expect a judge to be. You expect a judge to be clear and dry, and you did against the law, or you didn't do against the law, and according to that, I will give you your punishment. But we see here somebody who, or something, whatever you want to call it, a being that has emotions and that has what I call a certain vulnerability and a personality, unpredictability that is in the first luach. Why? I don't, have respect for me. I can be hurt in my feelings if you are raising my name in vain. Yeah. So these are really elements of respect. He expects us to respect him and not to hurt his feeling, Kaviyochu. So it's a very interesting picture that we receive here from an Hashem, which is kind of has what we can call human traits that are considered for us chisoron. Yeah, jealousy is a chisoron, upset is a chisoron. It's like he shows himself in a very vulnerable state, and therefore he wants us to serve him in this concept. On the other hand, on the other one is the sichtzach and the sinav. They are very clear messages for the judge to make sure that the society should be in harmony, and the person that is guilty should be punished. The person that is not guilty should not be punished. So it's about the harmony in the judge, and therefore we don't see that at all in the second luach. In the contrary, we see that he is the creator of the cosmic order, of all the laws of nature, he is the source of the natural laws, and therefore our job is to make sure that the natural laws should be respected continuously, and that something belongs to me should not be taken away by somebody else, etc. So the whole idea of bringing harmony in the world. Sorry?
In Shabbos, there's a mention of Tzorech. And it's on the second law.
Yeah.
The second half, let's say.
Yeah, but then therefore, and that's why I already said that that Moshe Rabbeinu in Voes Hanon, he says that the Avodah Moscho, the Chiddush of the Shabbos is that even you are Avodim and you are Moscho, the Shifcho should also rest. Not only you, but also. So in other words, there is what we call an harmony and an equality in the rest of Shabbos. He is Marech in Voes Hanon. If you look in Voes Hanon, he says, when he says, this is exactly the same thing, it's an unbelievable notion. Why do I want your Shabbos? That's not what you. And he continues. There's another sentence. It's to remember that your avodim should rest. It's very interesting. We have to understand that.
Yes, it's clear.
Yeah.
In
Yisrael, not. No, but Moshe Rabbeinu. But Moshe Rabbeinu, when Ezra explained Moshe Rabbeinu, explained in Sefer Dvorim what he
What
did
was
not
the-
explain in what was not clear in the previous four Chumoshim. That's what Ibn Ezra explains. So he puts the emphasis where he felt that the new generation did not, because if you would read the text, you would not read it like that. So Moshe Rabbeinu had to add in the luchos, had to add these fundamental
Specs.
specs to understand what is the core of the Shabbos is that you avodim and you, in other words, the land should equally. There's no, I am a Jew and they are goyim, they should make their work for me. No, they are you avodim. You have to give them also a day of rest. So it's about equality in.
We only speak about the avodim and the behemoths of a Jew. A non-Jew should work on Shabbos, otherwise he's killed.
Yeah.
So it's not true. There is no equality. It's you as a Jew, you should rest on what is making your profit. Should rest that day, but that's it.
But
No
in Eretz
quality.
Yisrael it's not clear. In Eretz Yisrael itself, I know
You
that
think-
a lot of
you
the
think-
Gemara will agree that with you, but Ibn Ezra holds that in Eretz Yisrael everybody has to rest.
No,
But,
you spoke about it in the show, but anyway, even in Eretz Yisrael, in our authority, under our authority, that's how it should be. But that's on yes.
Only
Outside, they're not equality at all.
So there is you can argue, but here the avodim, at least the ones that are within your authority, you should not use them to make the work for you, but they should rest as well. So it's all about cosmic order. And we will elaborate a little bit more on that, but based on this work here. Now, the idea here, what he wants to bring is normally we learn, and this is also what the Novi says, that Hashem is not influenced by our act. So whenever you make an act, whether you make a sin or not, it does not influence Hashem. Hashem is completely isolated from what happens on this world. You cannot reach him, you cannot touch him, you cannot hurt him, you cannot, he's completely immune from our acts. That's how normally we learn as a child and etc.
Which means of course he's not, he stays the same.
But he cannot,
he's not hurt.
Is not hurt by
He's
our
not
acts.
diminished.
What? Sorry?
He's not diminished.
He's not diminished by our acts, etc., etc.
But he reacts.
He reacts, but the reaction will be as a judge. So it's more as a judge. You did good, you didn't do good. You did good, okay, you can go further. You didn't do good, maybe we'll think about you, whether you give you a second chance or not. And then every day Hashem judges the world, and that's how, or once a year, or every day, Machlokes in the Gemara, or only at the end by the big judgment when after 120, or
every Monday and Thursday.
Every Monday and Thursday, etc. So there's a lot of different opinions on how it works, but you cannot touch him, which is already against what I just said to you. The Aseres HaDibros, the first Luach. In the first Luach, Hashem says, I am touched, I am hurt, I am somebody that you can't hurt, and that you have to look after me as if you can hurt me, which is extremely important in the understanding of what I believe is really the uniqueness of Judaism, what Judaism has brought to the world, even if there will be other societies that have monotheism. Our God is a God that has these what we can call strange vulnerabilities. We have to look after him. And so this is the general point of view. So the general point of view is that he's not touched by our being and what we can do, etc. Nobody can help him. He is so far away from us that it is something which is completely when we do something here, there is very little that happens up there, if any. And then there is a lot of Chazal that actually gives to Hashem and the humans a much more of collaborative mode. So there is kind of a collaboration between Hashem and humans. There is one of them is clear that Chazal are saying that when Klal Yisrael goes into Golus, Hashem also goes into Golus. So it's like there is kind of Hashem, the Shechina kind of follows Klal Yisrael. So in other words, there is kind of you can say a correlation between what's happening on this world and Hashem himself. Hashem also can go there. There is that we can, as humans, we can be magdil the koyach of Hashem. The Moshe Rabbeinu, Gemara says, Ma'atzim koyach shel Gevohah, says the Gemara. Moshe Rabbeinu is strengthen the koyach of the Gevohah of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So, kol zman she'atzadikim oisim retzoni shel mokom hein moisifin koyach b'Gevohah. So we can strengthen Hashem. That's a very interesting concept here that Chazal has brought us down here. Yeah. So a person, he can and he should actually help Hashem in giving him strength. It says that when Moshe Rabbeinu came up in the world, he came up in the heavens, he saw Hashem be koisher ksurim loisyos. He was busy with letters, with the tagging in the letters. And Omar loy hoyo lecho lazreni, you should have helped me. Why didn't you help me? You saw me busy and I was struggling. Why didn't you come and help me? Says Hashem to Moshe Rabbeinu. So Moshe Rabbeinu can help Hashem. So you see here something very interesting. And the Ramchal also, he uses an expression which he doesn't bring down here, but it brings down a little bit later, which is a posuk to nu oiz lelokim. In other words, we can give strength to Hashem. To nu oiz lelokim is not, normally I would have translated it, associate strength with God. Yeah, more an association. To nu oiz lelokim. If you speak about strength, it should be Hashem that you speak about. But no, they learn it. To nu oiz lelokim means an obligation for us to give strength to Hashem. As if we say, Kaviyochel, Hashem is weakened, and we have to strengthen him. It's an unbelievable, you understand what I'm saying? It's quite a revolutionary position that we have.
You can amplify.
Amplify, yeah. But it means that there is more strength that he does not have yet.
Absolutely.
There is a certain limit to his strength. And we can add to that strength.
I know you are just the hero of a hero, not a hero. I don't know you pronounce in English, but basically you have a mitzvah to be the spokesman of you go and you.
Oh, that's another way.
Yeah. No, that's not another way. That's exactly what it means. Especially because what you just said, that Hashem doesn't need us. What does it mean? We do it because for us we consider it as we have to amplify his voice, not because he needs it, but because that's our duty.
Yeah. But so you assume that Nu Oiz Elokim is tell to the people that strength is Hashem. So the strength is by Hashem, he doesn't need us. And tell to the people that when you speak about strength, Hashem is the strongest. Nu Oiz Lelokim. That when you speak about strength, Oiz is give it to Elokim.
That's how we build the world.
Yeah, but they learn that we can give strength to Hashem.
It's full puzzle is no Elokim and Yisrael, no?
Yeah. That it is only Yisrael who can give strength to Hashem.
No, let strengths spread on
But I tell you, I understand. There's always a Poshet Pshat, and then the Kabbalah takes a Posuk.
I think the Poshet Pshat is closer to what he says. It's not to know how it Elokim is something else. No, Oiz Elokim is let the power of Hashem
grow,
shine on Israel.
On Israel.
Yeah.
It's not to give him strength, but let him shine his strength on Klal Israel. Yeah.
Be a keli to
very nice. So like this, the people will see that Hashem is strong by looking at Klal Israel at the end.
The history has shown Moshe by Yitzis Mitzrayim, where the Jews were the weakest.
Yeah.
That's where God showed all his strength. Yitzis Mitzrayim.
Yeah.
We repeated 10 times.
Even without
just the opposite.
Yeah.
When we're at our lowest,
he was the strongest. Yeah. I understand. This is a question you're asking on this pshat, that he doesn't need us, even when we don't perform.
Opposite.
He
was the strongest, but we're the lowest.
Unless you want to say that the overs, the Sus overs, the strength that the overs have given to Hashem, with this strength he could take us out of Mitzrayim. But I hear your point. I will I'll take it. It's a good point. In any ways, clearly the Ramban, for example, it doesn't say mamish what I just said now, but the Ramban explains that when he, I already spoke it 100 times, that the purpose of the will of Hashem is in order for him to live on this world. And B'shochanti b'soicha means that Hashem wants to live amongst the nations. And so there, the Ramban there in Shemois, he explains that he speaks about the idea of Tzorech Gevohah. So the first time that we have such an expression of the word Tzorech Gevohah, meaning that it's not Tzorech Atzmo, it's not for when a person makes Tzorech Hedyot, it's not for us, it's the opposite of Tzorech Hedyot, it's Tzorech Gevohah. When we do a mitzvah, Hashem needs it. So it's not we're doing it for me, because I want to have good points, I want to have extra lines when I come up there, and therefore I'll receive, I'll be able to show the list of all the mitzvahs, and I will get the better place in the Gan Eden. But that Hashem needs us in order to be able to do something, or to be, or to feel, or whatever. But it's also Hashem needs us. It's not a game where we are here just for ourselves, but it's for Hashem. And Rabbeinu Bechaya says it also, Ki ashchos ashchine beYisrael, tzorech gevoya hu gam kein, lo tzorech hedyot.
What's Ashkina again?
Ashchos ashchine beYisrael, tzorech gevoya hu gam kein, lo tzorech hedyot. It's not a tzorech hedyot. It's not for us that Hashem lives here, but He needs to live here. So He wants to live here. And therefore, He asked us to keep the mitzvahs. Because normally you learn that if you keep the mitzvahs, you'll be good people, and you will build a Mishkan, Hashem will make the honor of coming and live amongst you. It's going to be better for you that Hashem is there. Because it's a how do you call it? It's a schar that we receive. It's an honor that we receive. He says, the Rambam and Rabbeinu Bechaya, he says, no, it's not an honor, it's the purpose. Hashem needs to live amongst us, which doesn't explain the why, but it's a very interesting concept. In the Ulechein, he says, Yesh lehem koyach leYisrael yos machlishin oy moisifin koyach begvur shel marlo kefi maasehem. Machlishin u moisifin. That's in 8, it's the biur of the Rabbeinu Bechaya on Shmois Chuf and Posuk Aleph. Yeah? Again, I will repeat the words. Yesh lehem koyach leYisrael yos machlishin oy moisifin koyach begvuro shel malo kefi maasehem. Our ma'asim that we do on this world give strength, or even machlishin takes away strength from Hashem. This is the idea of the Tnuah Elokim, and this is the Yigdal no koyach Hashem. So this is already you can see in the Rishonim, like the Ramban and Rabbeinu Bechaya, that have this point of view that what we do on this world is not for us, but it has also a purpose for Hashem Himself. And this is the first time that we see the concept of Tzorech Gevohah, which has been coined as Avodah Tzorech Gevohah. You can Google it, you will find a lot of documents about that. But it's not for us, it's for Hashem. It changes the whole picture, the Referenzikader, the Weltanschauung of why we are here is not for us, but for Hashem. That's one of the thing that I wanted to say.
It's not the entire purpose for Hashem, but means that we also benefit from Ashwas Ashkina.
Yeah, but
just
it's
you cannot look at the entire Weltanschauung under this spectrum. You there's also other.
Oh, so that's a good question. Is this the main, and the other ones are only what do you call them, auxiliaries of the one, or not? There is here, and he does not bring it. That he wants to say that at some point that's a point where he wants to say, and that he brings down from number 12, Avodas HaKodesh, Sefer Avodas HaKodesh, he brings down, sheyishtadel letzorech gevoya, shehu hayichud haniska bilvad, veloy letzorech. That the main purpose, if a person can reach this level, where he says, I'm going to do a mitzvah, not for me, not so that I will receive Gan Eden, but apparently this mitzvah Hashem needs me to do it, So I will do it to do the chesed with Hashem. Okay? It's quite revolutionary. I already spoke many times about that. In the Sefer HaBohir and also in the Tikkun HaZoyar, he even says that who is a chosid? A chosid is somebody who is goimer chesed in boiro. He does chesed with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yeah? That Ezehu chosid ha-mischased in koinoi. He does chesed with his bonsham. Means our bonsham needs our chesed. Again, you see here a vulnerability of a God. God is a vulnerable being. He needs our chesed. It's a completely different point of view that is typically not what we have been taught, and rightfully you can't explain this to a child. Yeah,
God created us in His image.
In His image, and
so meaning like we are vulnerable, He is.
So He created His own vulnerability in us.
No,
yeah.
I think this was not, the vulnerability was created together with us. Because before the creation.
Oh, very good. That will
didn't have anybody to serve him.
Can we
not say that's the sin too.
Yeah.
He made
very
himself,
good. Very good. That's where we want to get into. I don't know if today, because the time flies, but that's where I want to become. He says a very good important point. The creation. So Hashem, to create the world, He has to also recreate Himself. Yeah. Hashem is the Ein Sof, is Ein Sof. And therefore He had to create, I know He was shocked a little bit, but He was an Ein Sof, and therefore in the Mukobolim says, Bereshis Boro Elokim. That normally you're not allowed to learn. That's why they changed the Elokim Boro Bereshis, Elokim Bereshis Boro, that they put Elokim, remember by the Septuagint, they had to change, the Chachumim changed. But the Mukobolim do learn it like that. That the Reshis Boro Elokim. That the Reshis, which is Reshis Chochma, this is the highest sphere, had to create the next one, which is the Din, which is Elokim, in order for the world to be able to exist. And so there is kind of a recreate Himself. It is in Kabbalah that Hashem, the Ein Sof, had to create kind of the 10 spheres in order to be able to create humans. Yeah. So He had to create Chisorin. He had to create how do you call it? Not a shleimus. He had to create problems, kind of Ra and Toiv, in order to be able to create the humans. And so when you say that He was created in the image of God, yes, because it's the image of God, Yud-Kei Vov-Kei, which was created by the Ein Sof.
Hashem looked into the Torah before creating.
Okay, that's already another discussion. Yeah, that's already another discussion, that the Torah was before the world, or the Torah came after. So this, you base yourself on the Chazal that says that the Torah existed 2,000 years before, and Hashem used the Torah as a blueprint for the creation. But that's already a medrash that complicates a little bit. But we can discuss that in a later moment.
Why can we not say that it's not a question of the vulnerability of Hashem, but Hashem needs us to do mitzvahs and become a Tikkun Olam?
Very good. So that's where we are going there. We are going into that level of the Shir. We'll end up with that shitta. Here we are just explaining the Zohar and the Rambam and Rabbeinu Bechaye, which clearly says that Koyach Yisrael Yos Machlishin or Mosifim Koyach Bigvura. They give it a very interesting. They look at the psukim as on a very literal meaning. The Tnu Oiz Elokim means give strength to Hashem. In other words, I can give Him strength or I can weaken Him. And I will continue with that point of view, and then we'll end up with the Tikkun Olam, and this is Rav Kook and that also the Ramchal. Yeah. So now I am still in the early Rishonim.
Yeah, but just to summarize what you just said, in other words, you are saying Hashem is not Hashem till the human has been created. So before we were created, it was not God.
No. He had to create. He has to have a Yud-Kei Vov-Kei. First was Emesh, Aleph Mem Shin was the first name, and then came Yud-Kei Vov-Kei.
Can we speak about Hashem or God before the Tzimtzum? Because basically, from what I understand, maybe I misunderstood, but from what I understand, from what you said, you can speak about the God only once you have or before that doesn't make any sense. I try to put to the maximum.
Wow, I want to know where you want to go with that. I don't know why if I say yes, I say no, I need to.
Is that what they meant? Basically, when you have a tzimtzum, they have to to help Hashem to still be
Yeah,
the
but
God.
they did not speak about Tzimtzum.
No,
So I'm just
no,
saying, and then somebody else, and then I elaborated with other concepts.
What you meant by in the bottom line or not? Here,
we cannot answer that because they don't explain the why. So they don't give the why. They just say that this is the Metzius. They assume the Metzius is V'shahanti b'soichem is the purpose of Hashem, and that we can help him, and that it's Avodah is Tzorech Gevohah. That's the Ramban. It's a Rishon. It's not Achro in Eretz Yisrael and the Kibbutz. It's somebody who.
I'm just trying to answer what you were saying.
Yeah. But they don't give holistic explanation. They just give us the facts, how they see it, without explaining us the motivation behind that. The Arizal felt that it's missing a little bit of an explanation. Why would Hashem put himself creating a vulnerability? And therefore he adds the word tikkun. He is the one that adds the word of tikkun, but he does a very tikkun, which is a Kabbalistic tikkun. What do I mean by that? That the world, when the world was created, there was an accident. As I explained you, this accident, the vessels, the Shviras HaKelim, created a lot of klipos and nitzoitzos that fell into this world. And there are actually 288 nitzoitzos. He gives a number, 288 nitzoitzos, sparks that fell into this world. And it is the job of the humans, he created man, to find those sparks and bring it back to the high world, to the Olam Atzilus. Yeah. So our job is here to be metaken the world, is to find those nitzoitzos, and the idea is that those klipos needs to be removed from the nitzoitzos. So apparently the kalim fell, and the parts, the klipos, the how do you call it? When a kli breaks down, there are a lot of shivre kalim. Don't know how you say it in English. And there's also nitzoitzos on them, I guess, and it's still from the light sticks on it. We have to find them and to lift them up and bring them back up. And therefore, everything that we do in this world is with the purpose of being metaken the world, is with the nitzoitzos, with all those little sparks. That's why the making of bread is a whole process that he describes. You have to make harish and then zriya. You have to continuously add value and bring order and take away the klippos from the chitim and then make lisha and then put it in the fire. This process is exactly the process that we need to do in this world in order to bring back the nitzoitzos up in heaven. So something was broken and we need to fix it.
The fragment.
What? The fragment, exactly. Yeah, that's the word. Fragments. And he gives a very nice explanation, which now we can understand a little bit, that it's not Hashem as a vulnerable. Hashem is not vulnerable at all, but there is kind of something broken in the world, in the universe, and we have to fix it. The question is, if it's only 288 fragments, probably after 5,000 years, 6,000 years, this should have been already fixed. And that's a question that Rabbi Yaakov Tzemach asked. And so he answered that either, no, it's only 288 big fragments, but then there are a lot of different small fragments, or, and that's a more of a pessimistic view, where he sees the tikkun is to bring up. We do with mitzvahs, we bring him up, but when a person does an aveira, brings them back down. And so it's a continuously up and then down and up and down. It's like a yo-yo. And eventually, we hope that at some point, the tikkun, full tikkun will happen. And then the world will be metukan. And that is when normally Mashiach will come. Okay?
Meaning every new invention which helps humanity, that's one of them.
Beautiful. It's this is what you're saying. You should write it down and develop that. Everything I mean it. Everything I'm saying here is for us to take and to try to understand better the world. That's the purpose. I don't know. I can't give you an answer to that. But yeah, it's a possible explanation that every generation receives new tools in order to be metaken the nitzoitzes of the previous generation. That's what you mean, right?
Yeah.
That therefore, so you're giving a sense, which he doesn't bring, a sense to history. Yeah.
The world before electricity.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. I didn't think of that. I didn't think of that, but this is where I want to come eventually with this shir, and maybe probably next week shir more, is that the history has a sense. You're giving a sense to the history.
Yeah, but the killing also not non-beneficial.
Oh, every time a kli is always cheref bifios.
Yeah.
It's always two sides. Everything. Yeah, artificial intelligence has an advantage, disadvantage. Internet has an advantage and disadvantage. Electricity, an advantage. So you can, nuclear is an advantage. You can create energy and you can heal diseases. On the other hand, it can be used for weapon. So that's always like that. But maybe we need those new tools in order to find insight. I never thought of that.
That's why we have the Bechira to do good
Yeah.
and bad.
Yeah, and here comes the Bechira to do. Yeah, but we should write it down. That's not what he says. That's not what he says. But it gives it gives a sense to history. That's why the history of humanity went into that, because today we have received new tools that our previous generation could not. So maybe 288, like 235 were found already in the previous generation, and we still, our generation, with what the tools that we have, we can be metaken the nitzoitzes, the rest of the nitzoitzes. So that's thank you for that, because there was a part that was missing, and actually not missing. They say it's missing in the Arizal, because it seems that therefore the history of itself is kind of random. Yeah, we do up and down and up and down, but the fact that we have electricity that we have, it does not explain why Donald Trump became president. There's no explanation, and it's random. There is no point of, you can try and think and
Hashem puts the head of space on the job.
yeah,
I don't know the wording.
Yeah, but the question is, does it make sense or not, and how do we have to look at it? And is it a kind of part of the purpose of the whole creation, or is it just a context to help us now to put on tefillin? You understand what I'm saying? Or is there a purpose along, like the infinite game? We come back to the infinite game. Is it a finite game that each one of us play a finite game? We all need to put on tefillin and to daven and to learn Torah, etc., and to be kind of mitzvahs, because there is an end of our life, and then we will receive. Or there is an infinite game, which means that we are just part of a game that we have to make sure that it continues, and we have to build for the next generation, as I explained you with the whole idea of planting a tree. Yeah, last week's shiur, planting of a tree. The symbol of planting of a tree is that it's for the next generation. You don't plant a tree for yourself, but you plant a tree for the next generation. That's the symbol of Judaism. Yeah? If you want to emulate God, you plant trees in that way. I didn't mention the KKL by Rav Sternbuch. I kept myself in. Yeah.
No, it's a real issue because they don't care.
No. On the other hand, they are the main mitzvah, which is the Medrash says the main mitzvah, the voikus in Hashem. How to be dovuk in Hashem, says the Medrash, to plant trees in it. So it's an interesting Medrash. But the spitz of where a Jew can achieve, which is voikus in Hashem, how does it show? By planting trees in Eretz Yisrael. That's what Hakuk always said, that we neglect certain things, and therefore the non-religious, they find the Kedusha, they find it and they do it, but not in a religious act. They are the ones that do the Yishuv Eretz Yisrael. We don't. You understand? That's what Rav Kook's point of view. I'm sorry, it's Rav Kook's point of view. Yeah, that the non-religious, they get called this high Kedusha that as a religion we neglect. As I remember, when I was a child, I remember that in the Pushim in Yerushalayim, they used to say, or at this time, Zeh pflanzen Beimelech uns pflanzen wir kinderlich. Understand? That's the expression, the critique on the Zionim, on the Zionists was they plant trees, we plant children. So the Haredi community had a lot of children, and the non-religious have little children, but they plant trees. So they saw
why it's opposite?
What?
Why it's not position? Why it's not both positive?
Yeah. But they didn't. They want to see the Zionist movement as something which is against religion, against Kedusha. And okay, that's another discussion. What? Yeah. You can make it, of course, but they I remember this as a child. They pflanzen Bäume, pflanzen Kinder.
They used to live in Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim, I think you can't make farm.
I don't know. I don't know. That's the reason.
Yeah. Somehow you cannot make.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
The old Heimish.
They did not no, but we didn't go out to plant trees. We didn't go out neither in where they could. Our cook went and he was crying. He became very emotional when he was after plant a tree. Suddenly he remembered. He said, "Remember that matters. Do you remember that with this he could reach the highest level of Kedusha by planting a tree." It's a interesting concept that we need to okay. So that's the viewpoint of Darizal. So what's your Yiddish name? Yaakov David. So Rabbi Yaakov David gave us also that even according to Darizal, history could have a meaning. That because maybe the Nitzoitzes cannot be Tikkun with the tools that we had at the time, and every generation receives new tools. So there is a sense to history. So that's something new that I'll take with. So I might be mentioning you many times in my shiur, and I like the Ramchal. The Ramchal is has a problem. In the beginning, in the Ramchal, he always mentions that when you learn the Mesilas Yesharim, most people know the Ramchal. You know what Ramchal stands for? Moshe Chaim Luzzatto. He is known as the Mesilas Yesharim. In yeshivas, when we were bochim, everybody had to learn a bit of Musar. Mesilas Yesharim was the sefer that we were learning, and is the basis of the Musar Tzorech is known as the Ramchal, and the Mesilas Yesharim is I don't know if I think the symbol of Musar is the Mesilas Yesharim today. And the Mesilas Yesharim, he starts saying that the whole purpose of human being, Hashem wanted to create the world in order to give. He wanted to give to the humans, and therefore he created humans so that he can give them goodness, toiv. He wanted to be a native, but he says since it's not nice to give a free present, it's not people will be embarrassed to receive free, and so therefore he gave us a choice and made it a little bit more difficult for us so that we can deserve. So that we should deserve good. That was his point of view in the Mesilas Yesharim. And apparently, when he wrote the Das Torah, he came with a lot of problems. Because the main problem is, why could this not continue till the end of time? Why do we need to have Moshiach to come? What is the purpose? If only our living here is only for Schar and Oynish, then the question is, why do we need, why does it have to be a coming of Mashiach? Every generation has his challenges. It's a new game, a new context. And, each generation has its own, and also the fact itself that the world has changed, there's money to ask that as well. Why does the world have to change? Why can't the playing field where we are living be stable? And a generation has to pass the test, and he can continue like that for billions of years. Why is there an end? Why does it have to come to an end? If the whole purpose is Chapa Oynish, then we can continue and continue and continue, and we can go on like that there's place enough in Olam Habo. Olam Habo, there is enough space, no space problem there, and in Gan Eden also. So why do we have to come to an end? And he says it's a problem. So he changes his mind, and in the state without Tunoi, he adds a new dimension. Because he says that the Nevi'im say that at some point Hashem will show himself. Yeah, there is kind of an Achas Hayomim where things will be taken away. The Yetzirah will disappear. Why would the Yetzirah disappear? If the Yetzirah disappears, then he cannot continue doing good. So what's the purpose of the disappearance of the Yetzirah? If there is no Bechira, then there is no. So there is something which bothered him very, very much, which he realized that something is missing in his explanation. And in Das Tunis, he gives a second explanation, where he explains that the purpose of Hashem is to show to the world that he is the only one that did everything. He is the Shoilet Levado, that Hu Levado, Ani Hu. Basically, I am the only one that is up there in the world, that I'm in the sky. I am the one that controls everything. What does it mean, everything? Of course, how can we know that there is nothing else? So therefore, he comes with a very interesting concept, where he says, Hashem, in his wisdom, in his great wisdom, said the following: how can I show them that I am the only one up there? I will say the following: I will create toil, but also Ra. There will be evil in the world. And people will think, you see, there is evil and there is toil. So there are two forces in the world. So he creates the Sitra Achra, kind of. And people will say, yeah, there's a Sitra Achra. And then there is an Hashem. Like there are two Reshuyas, Chas v'Sholem. And then Hashem will show himself at the end, and he will show you, no, even the Ra was for me, and even the Ra, the more Ra that it can be, was L'Be'etzem Tov. Something which we will not be able to understand. We will only understand later on. So the whole Ra exists only so that people should then realize, when we will see that even the Ra was Tov, we will understand that there is only one Hashem. Okay. The whole Das Tunis is based on that concept. He has a whole sefer on that, and then he develops it later on in his latest form as well. The purpose of evil and of Ra and of Averas, etc., is to, the only way, he says, I cannot say that I am by myself, maybe not, maybe only, no. So he says, I will show you that I'm by myself. I will show you that there are two. What do you say? No, there is a Ra and there's a Tzorech. There are at least two forces. And then once you will see the Ra so strong and you will be convinced that there is two forces, there must be two forces, I will, at the end of time, I will show you that all these bad things that happen are actually coming from me. And not only they're coming from me, they are good. And the more bad that they are, the more that we will realize the beauty of the oneness of Hashem. So the oneness of Hashem can only be truly, completely be revealed through the fact that originally we will experience tout. Ouais, que tout est, c'est-à-dire que maintenant déjà, today we need to already start doing that. But of course the Groshoim will not do that. They will not say Gamzu L'Toivo. And so they will believe that there are two forces. And for them, Hashem will reveal himself.
The world itself.
This I didn't, yeah. And I mean, that even the Ra is a friend.
But
yeah. Yeah. That's the idea of the Ram.
Let's think if they wouldn't have do them that.
Yeah.
They would have we will be like Malach.
Yeah. But then we cannot know that there is only oneness. The oneness would never be, it will only be a theoretical oneness. Yeah. So you can only know that there is one if you feel that there is two. So like you make an hypothesis, imagine that there are two, and you disprove, you're just like a statistic.
Yeah. So the Malach think there is only one.
Yeah.
So the Malach don't know anything.
No, they don't know anything because they only see one, and for them there's not like they don't know it. They just feel it. There's only one. We will feel the oneness after that the Ra will be shown to be also.
Then we go back to this one thing that the Ra was eliminated.
Yeah.
And so we know that there are
Yeah.
Gevohah,
and that's
Yeah.
the end point.
but then who says that in another planet there's no other force?
We don't know. Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
okay, yeah,
It's like the Malach at the beginning. They knew that there's only one thing,
Yeah.
but maybe we don't know. Maybe it's something else.
Maybe there's something else,
Yeah.
not on this planet,
Yeah.
on the other universe, another galaxies. I think that Ramchal did not
Yeah.
think like that.
But not, I don't speak about that. I speak about
Yeah.
things that are just waiting to reveal.
No, that's a question that I can't answer. I also had the same question that so it's not a 100% valid proof. It can be still somewhere else, something that we will not be able to
The same
explain.
way people believe
Unless
that
he will-
there are aliens somewhere.
Unless he is going to prove that all the Ra, he will show us that all the Ra, we'll be able to see the whole Ra, the whole history. That's why it's just amazing that people will be able to tell all the Ra that happened at that time. And then Hashem will show you, no, look at this, look at that. He will explain, and then they will say, wow, all have been forever. Even the Shoah will be like,
What's the purpose of life after death?
no. So therefore, he stops there. That's the end of history for him.
So where is
There's
the
a life after.
So it's,
Not on this world.
maybe for him, not in this. So I gave a share once where I explained that according to Rav Kook, Moshiach is the beginning of the real world. When Moshiach comes, then the real world starts. We are still in the pre-phase. We're building up. That we are still in the Hakdama, the introduction. We are still in the introduction of the Sefer of the world. It is only an introduction. The real world will start when Moshiach comes. But according to him, there is an end, and then we will realize, and then whatever happens will be the Lochim will live a purely Ruchnic life. But the purpose is a one-time purpose. Not
The line would play with the
Yeah.
would be a lot.
You're asking a question. It's a question that needs a. I will try to next week. I hope that I will have the answer. So I'm still working on the second part in the explanation. I don't think he speaks about that, but I will check. Because also from Rav Kook, I know this I can explain, but from Ramchal, what happens after Moshiach, it's more magical time. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sorry.
So there's no more Ra and there's no more men not anymore. But need to decide everyone wants to take the good or the bad.
That will happen after Moshiach, according to the Ramchal. And there's a lot of psukim and Ma'amar Chazal. Like I always explain, there are thousands of Ma'amar Chazal. And you can always find the Ma'amar Chazal that supports your theory, and then you can find the Ma'amar Chazal that supports other theories. You understand? So either anyway, but that's the Ramchal seems to be going to that direction. We are in a temporary history. All the history is one purpose to always, when we go down, when we are something bad happens, is that these are all elements to show us that eventually afterwards we will look back and we'll see that it was all beautiful, it was all good, and everything was perfect. That's the whole purpose of the whole. Otherwise, he stopped. He cannot. In the beginning, he said that it was all starvoinish, you go there, but then why do we have to come to an end? What is the purpose of a Moshiach? Can continue and continue, and there's no purpose. And why indeed does the Yisrael go away? Elomai, that the purpose is to come to that level so that we go back and we can admit and see and know that
In that case, it's also that at the beginning, Adam Arishan didn't know anything about the unity of Hashem. Before the fact, he didn't have any.
Yeah, he explained. He speaks a lot about that.
Because, I mean, people have can still do Avodah, like for Adam Arishan, but it means that even at the end, Hashem did everything. Okay, our children will do Avodah again. So that's not really the point. And just my second question is, okay, the Ramchal said it, but okay, so we see the unity of Hashem and what? But then all of that forget.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's a great
thing.
Okay, so we know, and then
no, that's the purpose.
So
there is a purpose. The whole purpose is for Hashem to be Nizgaleh to the world, to the humans, as being one.
Okay, now And okay, I know Hashem is here, and then what we do with the world, what we do, okay.
The same way that
Hello?
we not say
It's a lot of in the novel says.
Yeah.
No, there was a reason. Yeah,
Oh, also,
yeah.
yeah.
It's not relationship. We have 1,000 years.
Yeah, but the thing doesn't have. It's because of the period that the story can continue. So there is a meaning for it. But if their goal was like, I want to have a Jewish people, and then that's it. What the point?
Next week I will explain a little bit more. I will go a little bit more into the details of how it works. But what?
What happens in the next
In the next episode. But yeah, but it says here, the Novi says, "Oh, ato ki ani hu, leman teidu v'taminu li, v'tavinu ki ani hu, lefonai lo noitzar el, da'achai lo liye, o noiche Hashem ve'en mivadu Moshiach." That's continuously the Novi brings down that the end purpose is to know that there is only one God and there is nobody else. The problem that I have is that today world we don't believe to believe that there are two gods. Don't even believe there is one God. So what is the purpose of saying there is nobody else? This is not the challenge of this generation. It's not the challenge to believe that they are not polytheists. We are these.
Meaning of the earth and his own power.
You're positive.
Yeah.
God says, yes, I accept you one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Why we go to this point?
Yeah. But supposed to have it then well.
No, but that's for him, not for
The main idea, the difference is between the Arizal and the Ramchal. According to Arizal, Mashiach will come when a certain algorithm, there's an algorithm up there, and the more nitroids are being fixed, more this algorithm adapts, and then when the moment it comes, we need it, ding, and then Mashiach can come. So there is kind of a rule, an algorithm. But according to the Ramchal, there is no algorithm. Mashiach will come even without any source. Will come. He can come today. There's no. The moment that Hashem believes that now, I think after the Shoah and the Shoah was good, I think then they will really go. And you understand? If I can prove that 7th of October was good, it's going to be fantastic. And kind of that's it's basically it's even how do you call it? It seems like apologetic approach for the suffering in the world. It's a bit of trying to explain suffering. Maybe in his time, suffering. What? Have to accept. Yeah. That's how an academic would, to deal with the Ra. It looks more.
That's very dangerous. Sometimes the reason why people are not believing, they say you explain history from your point of view of today. You explain 2,000 years
how it happened.
So it to prove that your origin is different.
Yeah.
So that's very dangerous.
But he believes
on the amount.
Yeah. Also.
Body in the union containing them to the Gevohah, and then one day you understand that everything I made was, but if you insist,
I will do it, and I will show you from the beginning how it. But I have to destroy the world in order to show you
to understand.
To understand.
And do you really want that? And then they say no.
No. So
the question is, why did they say no? They just want to get
because those were the Maluchim. Hashem wants us to know. They don't have to know. We have. Hashem wants the humans to know the oneness of Hashem, and we can only know it if there is a bit. He believes that the only way to know the oneness of Hashem is through creating two. We have two. We have Yetzirah and Tzorech, and then we will appreciate much more the oneness of Hashem if we can transform to us in front of our eyes so that even the biggest Ra that happened is possible. And that's wow. And then there is so this moment of where suddenly in your brain there is this aha moment, what we call a mental orgasm, if you want to use that word, but you understand what I'm saying, is kind of the wow, it's unbelievable what we will see. This will be kind of what Hashem wants. That's what he wants to give us. And maybe that's why I say that amazing is, to bring back those people, so that everybody that live in this world can understand that everything that happened in his time was for the Rabbi. What I don't care what happened 5,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago. So those people also that they should understand. It puts the human in the center as well. It's a very human-centric approach. We do it for the human, not for the world. The world on itself. What?
He doesn't want us to follow it.
Now, but eventually, no.
Years.
Yeah.
He doesn't want humans to understand him.
No, but it says that yes. The purpose is that we should understand him eventually.
He's one, not to understand his action.
Yeah, no. How will we understand that there is one? Because we'll understand his action. That's at the end of time. So eventually, so the purpose of the whole universe comes to that level of understanding. So the whole purpose while I'm here, go through my life, trying to do my best in Hamzul Toiko, try myself to do it as much as possible, but eventually it will happen. And then eventually it's independent of my time can be for us not understandable. Even if there's no schus, that there is no more schavoinish afterwards, like what he said. There is no more Yetzirah, and everything will be beautiful, and we'll have a moment of glory from Hashem for a few moments. I don't know how long, and then afterwards, that's it. We reach our goal. There is no more after. It doesn't explain the after. The after is a little bit what was before the chet, what you said. He speaks a lot about that problem. He realizes that the problem was that it only started after the chet of the Eitzadas. So what happened? What would have happened before? And then in the beginning of Das Atonis, I did not understand, to be honest. So I have to relearn it a few times. It's not like I it's a very difficult philosophical book, but he speaks a lot about. Okay, and we should stop here or cook a little bit. You still have enough glucose in your brains. So Rav Kook has the same concept. So for the Arizal, theoretically, the history according to him does not make sense. And you, the Yaakov David, you made it a little bit more giving a sense to history. The Ramchal said that the whole history is on itself a purpose, that the Shoah has a purpose. Like this, we will know even more. Everything that happens in this world, especially the Ra, not even the Toy, for example, is not interesting. The more interesting is the Ra, right? The problem. He makes the Ra to be more interesting than the Toy, because it is through the Ra that we'll understand the Toy. Rav gives a very interesting philosophical, but difficult to understand, philosophical approach to the whole creation. But he also cannot live with the fact that just the whole world for us, we make mitzvahs, we receive reward, we make our best, we receive punishment. This concept he also cannot accept. There must be a bigger plan. And so Rav Kook said the following: there is the completeness of Hashem. So Hashem is complete. There is the shleimus of Hashem. And he says something is complete means that there is everything is in it. So you said that something is complete, it means that in the completeness there is also, and that's difficult to understand, but completeness there is also incompleteness. Okay? So there's also everything. If you say something is everything, that means that it means everything. So also incompleteness, also growth, and being able to become complete is part of the completeness. Yeah, I agree. It's a theory which he based himself. This is not only him. It's based on Kabbalah. So I bring it down, but I couldn't find it back. There's a Mekubal who used to say that as well. That if we say that Hashem is everything, it means that in him has also the Toiv and the Ra. So there is the Ra also in Hashem, because Hashem everything from Hashem. And so therefore, it's also the Ra is also part of Hashem. And the growth, that means that he can also grow. Because if he cannot grow, it means that he is not complete. And that's the contradiction.
He powers the Ra. Independent.
Yeah. Okay,
It's
but there is in him, he is complete, means that he has everything.
How could it grow?
Oh, so he cannot grow himself, but he has the potential. He has the potential to grow. So something. So
it's infinite.
Potential, but he has the potential to grow because that's part of the completeness. And so, how does he grow? Therefore, he created an imperfect world. And he created an imperfect world that the world would grow. And when the world grows, he grows.
After when you play Lego, when you are building everything, it
destroy it, he wrote to rebuild it.
Again,
yeah, that's what he's doing. The whole time, the purpose of the humans is to continuously improve. Even if for him, the picture is a dropping is not a problem because the dropping is not a problem as long as you continue growing up. We continuously have to grow. The sugar on itself is like an Avera is not a problem because the Avera is an opportunity for you to grow. As long as you grow, you understand? Yeah, I was going to write this morning. That's exactly what it is. And an Avera is even an opportunity. Thanks to the Avera, I can grow.
Oh, thank you.
That's our cook. That's our cook point of view. He cannot see any bad in the world. He cannot understand that he was and he cannot explain his personality. I don't think it ever existed in the world such a personality which really not see any bad in the world. Therefore, he came to that conclusion that even the sin, the worst, has a growth potential. Therefore, it's important. Basically, it's really important because it enables you to grow. And so you don't look at the sin as a negative, but look at it as an opportunity to grow. Because the growing is the most important part. So,
you have sins which is quite human.
Yeah, but that's already the chevrati. That's why he says there are how you can grow, but not only you have to grow, also the society has to grow. Society grow by putting laws, making sure that they should not. Now, after growth, after down, it's followed by a growth. Right? And how do you imagine that you look back, you see only going down, that's a problem. There's no growth. And so you also have, as a society, has obligations to make sure that the whole world grows. Yeah. Every time when there's an affiliate comes, the ikir that comes. There is a lot about. Now, when you make an Avera, don't think of the Avera. Just now is an opportunity for you to grow. Think of not going back. In the Muslim, the literature today, we go back and there we are bad and we are bad and we are bad. So we are putting ourselves down with guilt feeling. For him, no. Be happy because now you have an opportunity to grow. So it's a pretty different mindset. In Hashem needs us to don't don't go out and take Averas, yeah, it's a good thing. But the idea is that because when you grow, Hashem grows with you. And then he puts his potential growth into the poyal, puts into action. And this is the whole world and the whole universe that grow. And therefore he takes it, there are two Chedushim. Not only is it all about the growth, shows the shleimus of Hashem is complete, and therefore he puts in us his growth potential, and he asks us to fulfill it. But also that it's not only humans, but the whole world. So also the trees and nature, everything has to grow better and better. And he expands that to not only humans, but to the whole universe. And that it's more than just the humans. We are only, in the contrary, we are the shlichim of Hashem to do it for the animals, look after the animals, look after nature, and etc. And he says that everything that makes us grow, music is very important, art and music and poetry and he was also very much into health and sport. He sees everything that improves the human condition and the world's condition is a growth element, and therefore is the ultimate purpose of the whole creation. You fulfill the purpose of the creation by growing. If you've learned something in this field which you did not know before, it means that you've grown, you have fulfilled the purpose of the creation. You help Hashem you're helping Hashem to grow. The Ein Sof cannot grow anymore. So how does he grow? If we grow. Understood? Is this compris ou t'as pas compris? C'est un peu, ça s'appelle Shlemut v'Hishtalmut. This is how you can find it back on the internet. Shlemut is the Shlemut of Hashem. It has inside him the Hishtalmut, the growing, and this is what we have. Then next week, Metz Hashem, I will repeat a little bit those 5 different opinions. Then I will show you how Tzadik Veraloi and the whole concept of how Hashem, the duality in the way that Hashem deals with us. There is a short term and long term, and I will elaborate a little bit more the way that Hashem is dealing with the world to understand Tzadik Veraloi and this is next week. We have Ashkocha Klolis and Ashkocha Protis, and we have all kinds of different bits. The whole idea then with this, we can understand more. But I have to develop it. He developed it. Then there are certain things which I didn't find in him, which I will add, and then we'll come to a better understanding. So very quickly, Chazal already, the movie says that Hashem is completely disconnected from us. That's what the Novi says. Chazal say, no, we can. When we do, we can add a little bit of strength to Hashem, but you can explain that it's Gevohah. It's more, we can, but then also that whatever we do here impacts Hashem, then Chazal call it a Shekhinah. It's not Hashem himself, but it's a Shekhinah. So we don't know what the Shekhinah is, but there is something where we can impact on Hashem. Then we have the Ramban and Rabbeinu Bechai, who clearly say that the koyach l'Yisrael yos machlishim or mosifim koyach b'gvur shel malo k'fimatem. We have the power to strengthen and give strength to Hashem. It's clear loshon of machlishim or mosifim koyach in the gvur. That word, in other words, is the first time that we see the concept Avodah Tzorech Gevohah. We do an Avodah for Hashem. Hashem needs us.
So you have also the Tzadik Goyder, Hashem Mekayim.
Yeah.
So there is the connection.
It's even
our mitzvahs or whatever it is, whatever the Tzadik has an influence on Hashem.
Not only that, Tzadik Goyder Hashem Mekayim means that who is on top. That's dangerous. That's where the Mendelism and Berlandism go so far. That they believe,
we have to fall down.
yeah, but yeah, but they go even a step further. So, but that's a different view. That's a separate sheet. Yeah, Shivisi are rebel and egg disomni, what they say. Anyway, so yes, so but that exists as a concept. Then we saw the Arizal. Arizal gives a little bit more of an explanation. He says that there is an accident that happened, and it's up to us to fix it. And there are 288 Deutsches that were lost in the world, and we need to correct them.
How can we explain that Hashem made it?
Toyovoyo, we know it. We know that there is something happened that is not Hashem. Why did Hashem create Toyovoyo? Everything Hashem creates. No, but what is Toyovoyo? Was the creation of Hashem. Hashem created Toyovoyo. How can you explain that Hashem created chaos? Everything comes out from Hashem is beautiful. It has to be perfect. The first thing that Hashem creates, and it's a Toyovoyo, it's a omelette. How can you explain that? So either he had this in mind, or it's an accident, or the accident he had in mind. But
in order to build, you have to destroy it.
But that's an accident. We call it a purposeful accident. What? Yeah, kind of. Yeah. You can say that it is part of his plan, but something went wrong. Clearly, something went.
Can you mention the dose of physics? And from that point on, chaos is the beginning of the physical.
Okay.
So you need it.
Need it. Okay.
It's
Whatever.
not chaos. It's how it should be. Otherwise,
Maybe-
we are in another world.
Maybe you can explain it different ways.
It's not me. It's Rambam and the Rambam.
Yeah, they have to explain it different ways, but they explain it. The Arizal introduced the Kiras HaKelim, that it is an accident. Now you can say it's a purposeful accident, or you can say it's an accident that didn't want to happen, but with kind of a Kiras HaKelim, it's the vessel's broke, and therefore we have to be metak in the world. And these are 288, and the reason why we did not fix it yet is because the Averas eventually, or because there are more than 288. And like what you said is that they did not have the kalim. We today, every generation has this kalim that can, and therefore we need to go through all kind of generations in order to be able to be metak. He also says that every time you bring a tikkun, it brings on a whole mechanism, and when you bring up a thing, there is something that happens, and then a new neshamas come out, neshamas from humans. Therefore, he wants to explain that in Ben David Bo, actually, first, all the neshamas have to be born in order for Mashiach to come. Normally, we learn that that's why that people should make lots of children, but no, it's the result. That because whenever we do that, there is a lot of neshamas that come down. So it turns that there is still potential, as long as all the mitzvot. So he brings the whole mechanism. The Ramchal, that's a Arizal. So in other words, Moshiach comes in, there is a particular time when Moshiach will come, something has to happen, the 288 has to be Metukah. According to the Ramchal, there is no reason why, we don't know, it can happen whenever it is, because the main purpose of Moshiach is to show us that everything that was bad was actually good, and it was all from Hashem, so that Hashem can really prove to us that there is only oneness in the world. And the Rav Kook, he sees the world as a world where we can fulfill the growth and the improvement of Hashem. It's through us, because he himself cannot grow anymore, only has a potential to grow. It is through creating of the humans and of this universe that we can, by improving ourselves, we are also improving Hashem. Hashem gets improved through us. So we are the ones he needs us to improve the world. And with Hashem, next week we'll go a little bit deeper in the understanding of how Hashem then leads the world, based a little bit on what I explained to you in the beginning on the two luchos of the way that I see either Hashem is a shtoifet or he is more than a shtoifet. We reserve attack to the Geula Shleibu Meru B'Yomeinu Omein. What? Next week, all the questions will be answered.
With the Geula
With the Geula Shleimu, all the questions will be answered.
Shleimu.